Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys liked the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sharper here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. Today, I'll just review Bitcoin and some few altcoins, including ETH USD. So my overall BTC idea is still intact. I still believe that a higher low will form either here or $50,000. A lot of confluence at the $50,000 area. High volume node starting around that time, 200-day EMA. Certainly possible that we make another leg down. And it's also possible that this current kind of demand zone around 54K is the bottom. I am expecting price to come back down to that level again, though, if it is the bottom, just because bottoms take a long time to form, generally speaking. If you look back at um, previous price action, you'll see that bottoms just sustainable bottoms, they take a long time to form. Like for example, back in January of 2021, which is nearly a year ago, which is incredible to think about. We had quite the year. This one lasted for like an entire month, and this is obviously a much different market structure than what we see currently. But um, the last kind of long consolidation that we had was this kind of consolidation back in September to October, and that was almost an entire month long as well. So right now, I would like to see price just chop around for a little bit longer. I mean, the longer it consolidates, so even if it goes, another like few weeks, that's fine. Like altcoins should do okay in this type of environment. Um, but from a market structure standpoint, I still believe that price is bullish overall. Um, I don't believe that this is like the ideal environment though for just like going balls deep in terms of like 50x longs. Not that you should ever really do that anyway, but um, really, if you are actively trading right now, I think that you should be targeting like the 5 to 10% moves over 50% plus, like for altcoins, like you would back in say January of 2021. It's very choppy right now, and conditions are they're very uncertain for the most part. So if I were actively trading altcoins, I am in an active dot position myself, but yeah, I would just keep it shorter in my opinion. But yeah, so I do believe that Bitcoin will form a bottom either here or 50,000, but the overall market structure is still intact. Higher low should certainly be formed around this area or a little bit lower. And if it goes and makes another leg down, then I expect more consolidation. And at that point, we'll see where the next high is printed. If the high, if it's a lower high, then I think that we're just done for a while. So that's kind of like my overall macro idea for Bitcoin is we'll form a bottom either here or 50,000, chop around a little bit longer. We'll see where the high is printed. I believe that we'll break all-time highs around 70K. If we don't break it, then we form some sort of lower high, similar to like what we saw back in May of 2021. Then I think we just go a little bit lower, and I would expect some like global macro conditions such as Fed rate hikes going up, or like some sort of COVID variant fucking up the economy. Something like that would be a factor. But for now, I think that we're still okay. So that's Bitcoin. And just note, if Bitcoin does make another leg down, like lower, then we will see probably some short-term capitulation with alts. Although alts have been bleeding for a while now. So let's look at Ethereum. No, fuck it, I'll just do like some blank charts. Okay, so where are we at with ETH? Okay, so I actually want to give you another. Where is it at? Okay, here's a mini fractal. I don't know if this fractal is like totally valid, but I mean, uh, I just want to really highlight the basics of it. So it's just like kind of Green is like stairs up. You can see this kind of slow grinding price action where it just goes like this, like not much volatility, just kind of goes up. Red is like a violent retrace, and then we see some sort of like lower high made, and then it like makes another leg down, like in the yellow box, and then we see like some consolidation and then move up. So we didn't quite see that yet. I mean, maybe this is just going to just break upward. If it does, then this entire fractal is just totally nullified, because I was expecting another potential leg down to 36K, which would coincide with Bitcoin going to like 50,000. But what we're seeing right now is Ethereum kind of decoupling from Bitcoin a little bit. Bitcoin is kind of chopping around and not really doing anything, and Ethereum is up a little bit. Now, if this happens strongly, like if Ethereum starts to make another leg up, then I actually think that, well, obviously ETH and BTC will go up in value, which should mean pretty good outcome for altcoins. But I will say that it's a little bit strange of an environment, because altcoins, they'll do well in the short term, but it's not really an ideal environment for altcoins. And what I mean by that is altcoins really thrive when Bitcoin is in a bullish market structure. And right now, I do believe it is in a high time frame bullish market structure, but Bitcoin could easily make another leg down, and it's still a little bit uncertain. Ethereum looks, looks a little bit stronger than Bitcoin in my opinion. And the ETH BTC chart, which I'll pull up after this, I can show you that as well. But let's just mark some levels for ETH BTC. So, I mean, the obvious next high level for ETH USD is the all-time high level at around 4,900 or so. And it's possible that this kind of consolidation that we just saw right here was like kind of like this bottom, and it would be similar price action to what we saw back in September, where we see kind of like this violent dump followed by one more leg down and then consolidation. This one didn't really have that lower high. So in that regard, as I said, the fractal would be like totally nullified. So like, if we see this kind of make another leg down, then the fractal would be valid. But if this just breaks all-time highs, then in that case, then obviously the fractal is just nullified. But I mean, overall, from a market structure standpoint, like this is still undeniably pretty bullish in my opinion. Like we're just seeing higher highs and higher lows ever since this big shakeout back in May. We've followed by this accumulation period back throughout the summer, and since that time, we've just seen higher highs and higher lows. And unlike Bitcoin, Bitcoin didn't have this like slow grinding price action that we saw. This like stairs up type of price action. So overall for Ethereum, I am bullish. I am waiting for a break of the all-time high levels. You might want to look for a break and retest if you are looking for some trades. But overall, it looks like pretty healthy, like decent volume coming in. I know this is the shitty Kraken chart, so like maybe not valid, but definitely look for all-time high levels around 48.70 or so. That should be a very interesting resistance area. And it's been a few weeks since we last tested that area, so it should be an interesting short initially, in my opinion, but we'll see how strong the actual pullback is. Don't quite know myself what the reaction will look like, but if ETH USD like continues to do pretty well despite what Bitcoin does, and then ETH BTC also does pretty well, then I think you can safely long many altcoins and assume that they'll be okay in the short term, just because ETH BTC is traditionally a pretty good macro indicator for altcoins. So again, a few trades that you might want to look at. You could consider shorting a little bit higher, maybe like 5,000 or so. That would probably be a pretty good initial short, depending on your strategy. I would not really hold that for that long myself. I would probably just like do something like this, where I would look for the latest demand zone, and I would do something like probably like this, like where you enter maybe like at a false breakout, like you're looking for an SFP, maybe like 49.50 or something like that, and then look for like some sort of 10% kind of drawdown, like reaction, and then just get out. That's personally what I would do. Like generally speaking, shorting in these situations is fine as a scalp, but like when the overall high time frame market structure still looks bullish, you are taking the risk, in my opinion, just because you are fighting the overall higher time frame trend. So that's kind of an idea. If you're looking to buy dips, we might see ETH pull some sort of ranging environment thing where we see like kind of these lows established around 39.50 or so, and then like maybe these highs around 4900 are like kind of like this range forming. This would be an interesting type of thing as well. We see like something like this. That's another trade idea. There will be, and if you want to get, it depends. Again, as I said, like it depends on your trading style. If you want to just like really scalp, you can look at some of these demand zones as well. Anywhere from like this 4300 area. This is like a demand zone that will show up on the lower time frame charts. This should certainly get some support as well. So again, it depends on your overall time frame. That's why I don't personally trade active trades on Twitter, just because it really depends on what your strategy is. It depends on what you trade. Some people trade off like the 1 minute chart, other people trade off like the 4 hour. It just depends. But if I were to look to buy dips, an aggressive entry would be like 4,300, and then like a better entry would be 4,000 if it comes. But again, that's still quite a bit a ways in my opinion. So let's look at I want to look at AVAX, RSR, and Sand. So let's look at Sand. I know my list is very long. I have to clean this up. I think that Sand looks okay, but there are a few scenarios. This 650 area should be support, as we're kind of seeing right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of lower high and then like higher low formed. And at that point, we see just some consolidation followed by probably another leg up. Volume will dry up, and this will chop around for a little bit longer, and then maybe another leg up. Another potential scenario is we see like a weak bounce off 650, and then this low around 575 would get broken, and then we just see like a lower low established on the on lower time frame charts. And that point, then I think this will go lower to like maybe like the low fives or so. Those are kind of like the two scenarios that I'm looking at. Like you can definitely, if you see this establish a higher low, then I think you can potentially just scale in around like this kind of mid-high $6 area. I think that's a valid trade idea, and wait for the breakout. Like wait for volume to come and then wait for the breakout. But those are kind of like the two overall trade ideas I have for Sand. I mean, if you zoom out a little bit, like this type of price action is not really very bullish in my opinion. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this kind of like take a rest for a while. You might argue, oh, like it looks kind of like similar to how it did in early November, but the overall context looks a little bit different in my opinion. Like for one, you saw like this insane fucking volume come at the end of October, and usually when that happens, like there's going to be another leg up, and that's, mind you, that's after price kind of just chopped around and accumulated for like a really long time. And obviously everything's contextual, and like if you zoom out, then you saw this, but in my opinion, it's still a little bit. It's still not really super bullish with this type of price action. Usually, you want to see like less volatility when price is taking a break. But if you're seeing crazy fucking wicks in both directions, that's a little bit scarier. AVAX is still one of my biggest bags. I have a few scenarios in mind for AVAX. Taking a break right now. I thought that maybe as of right now, my entire macro thesis is like kind of wrong in regards to Bitcoin running. We haven't seen Bitcoin run very hard, and I did scale a lot of my altcoin exposure out into Bitcoin. So far I'm wrong. That's the name of the game. It's okay. Like I still believe that my macro idea is correct, and I will be still scaling out altcoins into Bitcoin. But you know, it hasn't quite gone like with the schedule that I thought that we were going to see. Personally, I thought that we would see Bitcoin just run really hard, and we haven't really seen that yet. So, you know, when Bitcoin runs hard, then I think that alt BTC should go down for the most part. But until that time, like altcoins are still doing pretty well. So right now we're seeing AVAX. It's still like a bullish market structure, as I said. Be a little careful. Like we're seeing some high sell volume like coming in overall. And price, you know, it did make that big parabolic move over the fall. Taking a break now, it looks like it's kind of like doing this consolidation where we might see some sort of like lower high, higher low type of thing form. Like it wouldn't surprise me to see something like this. You know, this will probably go a little higher. But overall, I mean, again, as I said, it's still very high time frame, like structurally, still like a bullish chart. Like, you know, this still looks good, but I am not sure about AVAX BTC. I was very wrong about this before. Like, I did scale out some around like lower. Definitely very wrong about that. But you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm not perfect. Like my overall trade idea did work for other coins, but not quite AVAX. AVAX is still like really strong. Uh, both pairs still look pretty good though. If I were to look to buy a dip, maybe like this 190k satoshis. I can't read the number. Or is that 19k sats? I can't read it. But anyways, yeah, around kind of like this area. And yeah, it still looks bullish to me in terms of targets. I mean, initially you can target the all-time high levels, of course. Those will have some sellers, in my opinion. But similar to the ETH USD trade before, you always want to just be careful when price is approaching all-time high levels. Let's look briefly at what was another one? Oh, RSR. RSR was one I wanted to look at. RSR was interesting because it had like insane amount of volume. When you see something have crazy volume, you'll want to see some follow up. Massive amount of volume that took out a lot of sellers, and now you'll want to see more volume follow up on this other break. Lower time frame charts, I use kind of this SR flip around 048, and it also coincides with the 382 fib. Typically speaking, when price is very strong with a strong volume, you'll want to see price hit 382 fib or maybe the 0.5 if you're lucky, and then that's the only retest it gives, and then we'll see like some strong moves after that. So if I were to actively take a trade right now, I would consider, like I'm already in a dot position, so I'll probably sit this one out, but definitely would view kind of like this 382 area as a entry point, and then look for a follow up, and then like another leg up. We'll see if there's actually another follow up though. Like, I mean, again, as I said, when you see a big volume spike like this, it's usually something to really pay attention to. It's like this for all trending coins. You'll see this massive volume. Even if we look back at Sand, like, you know, you see this huge volume like starting to push forward, and the next day you see like this high red day, lots of sellers getting taken out, and then you see like massive follow up. So you'll want to see that for RSR. And actually, you know, looking at this chart map, maybe I will just like hop in. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the support.